The day my husband kicked me off our private jet, I realized I was never his partner. I was just a tool. And the moment he thought he didn't need me anymore, he threw me away like nothing. But while that jet climbed into the sky, Alex had no idea he had just made the biggest mistake of his life. Husband kicks me off private jet, but he panicked when he realized my secret power. TXD none. My name is Evelyn. My husband is Alex Carter, a famous businessman everyone thinks is a genius. People praise his company, his deals, his vision. And I smile beside him like the perfect wife. But the truth is, I built the brain of his empire. That morning, we arrived at the private airport. Alex walked ahead with confidence, his assistant Sienna beside him, laughing at something he said. I followed quietly, holding my bag, still believing this was our life together. Then right before boarding, Alex turned toward me, eyes cold. "Evelyn, you're not coming." I froze. What? He didn't lower his voice, didn't even care who heard. "It's a family-only trip, you'll stay home." I waited for a joke, a smile, anything. Nothing. The staff avoided my eyes as I stood there humiliated. Then Alex stepped onto the jet without looking back. The door closed. The engine roared, and within seconds it was gone. I stood on the tarmac with the wind slicing my face, my heart pounding like I couldn't breathe. Then I heard voices behind me. Alex, Sienna. They hadn't left yet, they were near the hangar, talking. Alex chuckled. "Once this deal closes, we're set for life." Sienna laughed, and Evelyn. Alex replied without hesitation. "I don't need her anymore, everything's running smoothly." My blood turned cold. So that was it. This wasn't about family. It was about replacing me. And in that moment, while everyone thought I was just a discarded wife, I made a silent decision. If Alex wanted to act like I was nothing, I would show him what losing me really costs. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't call anyone. I didn't beg Alex for an explanation. I went home, sat in the silent living room, and opened my laptop. Because the truth was simple, Alex didn't just kick me off a jet. He kicked out the person who kept his empire alive. Husband kicks me off private jet, but he panicked when he realized my secret power. TXD none. For 10 years, I had been the mind behind his biggest wins. Every major client, every strategy, every genius move people praised him for. Alex only knew how to speak confidently in meetings. I was the one who knew how to win them. And the most dangerous thing Alex didn't understand was this. His company didn't run on him, it ran on me. I logged into the company system. My access still worked. Of course it did. Alex never bothered changing it. He thought I was harmless. I pulled up the upcoming deal he was celebrating on that jet, the life-changing one. Then I opened the contract file. One small change in the wrong place could delay a payment. One quiet error could trigger a compliance issue. One missing confirmation could freeze the entire deal. I stared at the screen for a long time. Not because I didn't know what to do. Because I knew exactly what would happen once I did it. My hand moved calmly. I edited nothing obvious, just enough to create confusion later. Then I saved it. After that, I checked the payment schedule. Alex had everything tied to automatic approvals. Approvals that used my credentials. I smiled. He had built his tower on my fingerprints. I closed the laptop. At that exact moment, my phone buzzed. A message from Sienna. "Hope you enjoyed your quiet night. Alex is finally free." My chest went cold. So this wasn't a mistake. This was planned. I typed one reply. "Tell Alex to enjoy his flight." Then I blocked her. And I made myself a promise. He would land thinking he was a king. And wake up realizing his kingdom was already burning. When Alex finally came home, he acted like nothing happened. Like kicking me off that jet was normal. He walked in smiling, holding his phone, already talking about his biggest deal ever. He barely looked at me. "Tomorrow is huge," he said. "We're closing everything." I nodded, calm, silent, like the old Evelyn. But inside I was counting. Because I already knew something Alex didn't. That deal he was celebrating, it was held together by approvals that only I could unlock. Approvals he never learned how to do himself. He just enjoyed the results. That night, I waited until he slept. Then my phone buzzed. A notification from the company system. Final document submission, pending approval. I opened it and stared at the file. Alex thought he was in control. So I gave him a new reality. I didn't destroy anything fast. I didn't leave obvious damage. I changed one small clause that would create a verification issue. The kind that stops everything without anyone understanding why. Then I did something worse. I removed my name from the approval chain. Not my access, not my login. Just my name. So when the system failed, it wouldn't point me. It would point to him. By morning, Alex was dressed in his sharp suit, smiling like a king. He kissed my forehead quickly, "Wish me luck." I smiled back, "Good luck." 2 hours later, my phone lit up again. His first message, "Can you call me?" I didn't reply. Then the second, "The bank is holding the release." Third, "They're saying the contract has issues." Then came the fourth message, short, cold, different. EVLYN, answer. I stared at that last text and felt my heartbeat slow. He wasn't asking now. He was panicking. I sat back and watched the clock. Because I knew what was happening inside that meeting room. Alex was sitting in front of powerful people, pretending to be confident while his dream deal fell apart on his screen. And the best part, he still had no idea it was me. Not yet. Alex didn't come home that night. He called me again and again, 10 times, 15. Then the messages turned from anger into fear. "Evelyn, this isn't funny. Pick up. Please." At midnight, I finally answered. "What?" I said calmly. His voice cracked. "Where are you right now?" "At home." A long pause, then he whispered, "The deal is collapsing. They're saying the documents were changed." I stayed silent. He rushed his words. "I don't know how this happened. The investors are in the room, they want answers. Sienna is panicking, the lawyers are saying it's serious." I leaned back, "So fix it." "I can't," he admitted. "I don't know what to do. The system isn't letting approvals go through." That was my favorite part. Alex could sell dreams, but he couldn't run the machine. He lowered his voice. "Evelyn, did you do something?" I smiled slightly. "You kicked me off the jet, Alex. Why would I still be helping you?" He snapped, "This isn't about the jet." "It was never about the jet," I replied. "It was about you deciding I don't matter." He went quiet. I could hear people in the background, voices tense, someone calling his name. Then he spoke again, softer. "They're threatening to pull out. If this fails, I'm finished." I didn't respond. He suddenly said, "Sienna told me you've been acting strange. She said you're trying to ruin me." I laughed once. "Sienna talks too much." His breathing turned heavy. "Evelyn, listen. If you know something, tell me, right now." I kept my voice flat. "You said you don't need me anymore." "I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did," I cut him off, "and you said it proudly." He sounded desperate now. "I'll fix everything between us later. Just help me save this deal." I paused, then said slowly, "You want my help? Fine." His voice jumped with hope. "Yes, yes, please." I added one line. "But after tonight, you will never treat me like a shadow again." He whispered, "I swear." I ended the call. And I knew the truth. Alex didn't realize it yet. But he had just handed me control of his entire empire. The next morning, Alex came home with dark circles under his eyes. His suit was wrinkled, his hands shaking slightly as he loosened his tie. He looked like a man who had survived a disaster. He didn't apologize for the jet, he didn't even mention it. He only said, "Fix it." I met his eyes, "Say it properly." His jaw tightened, "Evelyn, please fix it." I walked to my laptop and opened the company portal. Alex stood behind me like a nervous employee. In 15 minutes, I reversed the verification issue and pushed the approvals through. The system accepted everything instantly. Alex exhaled like someone escaping death. "How did you do that so fast?" I didn't answer. Because the real question was, why couldn't he? His phone buzzed, he checked it and his face softened with relief. "They're back in," the investors calmed down. Then he added quietly, "You saved me." I closed my laptop. "Remember that." He nodded, then left the room quickly, already acting like he had control again. I followed him later and heard voices from his office. Alex and Sienna. Sienna's tone was sharp. She's getting too confident. Alex sighed. She's just emotional. Sienna laughed. Emotional? Alex, she can destroy you. You saw what happened last night. My heartbeat slowed. So they knew. Not fully, but they suspected. Sienna continued, you can't keep her close. She'll start thinking she has power. Alex replied, she doesn't have power, I do. Sienna's voice dropped lower. Then prove it. Take her access away, make her useless. I stood still outside the door. Alex hesitated. If I cut her off, what if she? Sienna interrupted. What? Ruins you? Exactly. That's why you handle her now, before she realizes she can replace you. Silence. Then Alex said something that made my blood turn cold. Fine, I'll sign the removal today. My nails dug into my palm. So that was his plan. He didn't learn his lesson. He was just scared I existed. I stepped away quietly and pulled out my phone. If Alex wanted to erase me from his empire, then I would erase him from it first. And this time, I wouldn't fix it afterward. That afternoon, Alex called a meeting with the board. I wasn't invited. That alone told me everything. He wanted to remove me quietly, like deleting a file. No goodbye, no warning, just gone. So I prepared first. I contacted the company's legal portal and pulled every contract linked to my identity. My name wasn't on the public records, but my digital signature was everywhere. Approvals, compliance stamps, high-level client confirmations. Alex's empire had one hidden weakness. If my signature became inactive, half the system would freeze. At 4:40 p.m., my phone buzzed. Access update in process. I smiled. So Alex really did it. At 4:41, another notification. Your admin privileges have been revoked. I stared at the screen, calm as ice. Then I tapped one button. A preset file I had created weeks ago, back when I still trusted him. It was a security protocol, official, legal, silent. If my access is removed without authorization, all pending high-risk deals automatically go into audit mode. At 4:42 p.m., Alex's board meeting turned into a nightmare. My phone lit up with alerts. Audit triggered, contracts locked. Payment release, HILTAD. Compliance review initiated. And then my favorite sound. Alex calling. I didn't answer. His call came again. Then Sienna called. I blocked her number without hesitation. Then my phone rang from an unknown number. I answered. Alex's voice was shaking. What did you do? I replied calmly, you removed my access. That wasn't personal, he snapped. It was business. I laughed softly. No, Alex, it was fear. I heard voices behind him, board members speaking loudly, someone asking about frozen contracts and regulatory flags. Alex lowered his voice like he was begging. Evelyn, reverse it now. They're asking if we're hiding fraud. I leaned back, and what did you tell them? He hesitated. I said it's a system error. I replied, that's smart, keep saying that. He whispered, they want proof, they want the person responsible. I let silence stretch. Then I said, tell them the truth. His voice cracked, I can't. I smiled. Because now he was trapped. If he exposed me, he exposed himself. And if he stayed silent, his empire would keep sinking. I ended the call. And I knew the next move wouldn't be mine. It would be theirs. By evening, Alex's name was burning inside his own company. I didn't need the news, I didn't need rumors, I saw it through the system logs. Board members were opening files rapidly. Lawyers were downloading contracts. Compliance officers were running checks. Alex had tried to erase me. Instead, he triggered an audit storm. At 8:13 p.m., my doorbell rang. I didn't open it. Then a text came. It's me, open. Alex. I waited. Another text. If you don't open, I'll break the door. I opened. Alex stepped in like a man drowning. His eyes were red, his hands were trembling. He didn't sit, he didn't breathe properly. Evelyn, he said, stop this. I stared at him. Stop what? He swallowed hard. The board is questioning everything. They're asking who controls the approvals. They're asking about the contracts you signed. I replied calmly, you told them I don't matter. He stepped closer. I didn't mean it. You said it, I cut him off, and you proved it. Alex's voice shook. Sienna pushed me. I smiled coldly. Don't blame her, you chose it. He looked around like he expected someone to save him. You don't understand. If they find out you were behind everything, they'll think I was fake. I leaned forward. Were you? His face went pale. That answer was enough. Then his phone rang. He answered instantly. I heard a board member's voice on speaker. Alex, the investors want an emergency briefing. Now. Alex tried to sound confident. Yes, I'm handling it. The voice replied, no, you're not. The compliance team wants the person who approved the contracts. The signature chain points to Evelyn Carter. Alex froze. His eyes snapped toward me. The voice continued, we need her present, Alex. Either she comes or we assume misconduct. The call ended. Alex stood in silence like he'd been punched. Then he whispered, they want you. I nodded, of course they do. He grabbed my arm suddenly. Please come with me. If you don't, they'll destroy me. I slowly removed his hand. You already destroyed yourself. His voice cracked. Evelyn, I'll fix everything. The jet, Sienna, all of it. I'll change, just save me. I looked him dead in the eyes. I will come, I said. His face filled with hope. Then I added, but not as your wife. And not as your shadow. I walked past him toward the door. From now on, I said, you follow me. The next morning, Alex drove me to the company like I was a weapon he didn't know how to control. He kept glancing at me, silent, scared. When we entered the boardroom, the air was sharp. Lawyers sat on one side, investors on the other, compliance officers in the back. Alex tried to speak first. A board member cut him off. Sit down. Alex obeyed. That alone felt unreal. Then all eyes turned to me. One investor leaned forward. Mrs. Carter, are you responsible for the approval chain connected to the Falcon deal? I answered calmly, yes. Alex's jaw tightened. Another investor asked, then why were your credentials removed yesterday? I looked at Alex. You should ask my husband. Alex suddenly spoke fast. It was a security step. A lawyer interrupted. Security steps don't trigger audit mode. Someone removed her access without proper authorization. The room went quiet. Then Sienna walked in. Late, confident, smiling like she owned the place. She sat beside Alex and spoke softly. This is getting dramatic. I didn't even look at her. A board member asked me, Evelyn, were you aware your access was being revoked? I replied, no. Sienna laughed lightly. Come on, Evelyn is emotional. She probably did all this for attention. Several heads turned toward her. I finally looked at Sienna. Say that again. She smiled wider. You heard me. I nodded slowly, then opened my laptop. I projected the screen onto the boardroom display. A file appeared. Email chains, signed approvals, internal notes. Then I clicked play on an audio recording. Sienna's voice filled the room. She's getting too confident. Take her access away, make her useless. Alex's voice followed. Fine, I'll sign the removal today. Silence exploded across the room. Sienna's smile vanished. Alex looked like he couldn't breathe. One investor stood up. So you knowingly removed the key approval authority from an active high-risk deal. Alex tried to speak. Nothing came out. A board member turned to Sienna. You manipulated executive access decisions. Sienna snapped, this is private. The lawyer cut her off, not anymore. I closed my laptop. Then I spoke, calm and clear. You all wanted to know what happened yesterday. Here it is. I was removed. So the system protected itself. A board member asked the question Alex feared most. Evelyn, are you the one running this company? I looked straight at Alex. Then I answered. Yes, the room didn't move for a full 5 seconds. Then everything hit at once. Investors started whispering. Board members exchanged looks. Lawyers began taking notes. Alex sat frozen, staring at the screen like his life was playing without him. Sienna's face turned pale. "She's lying," she snapped. "She's trying to steal credit." I didn't even glance at her. I looked at the board. "Ask him," I said. "Ask Alex who built the Falcon's strategy. Ask him who negotiated the client's compliance terms. Ask him who fixed the last collapse at midnight." Alex finally spoke, voice weak. "Evelyn, stop." A board member leaned forward. "Alex, answer the questions." Alex's lips parted, no words. That silence was louder than any confession. Then the lead investor spoke coldly. "So you're the face, and she's the engine." Alex flinched. Sienna slammed her hand on the table. "This is insane. Evelyn is just his wife." I turned to her slowly. "Just his wife." I clicked one more folder. A contract appeared on the screen. The signature line was highlighted. Evelyn Carter, primary authority. Then another file, another signature, another. A lawyer whispered, "She's listed as the signing authority in multiple major transactions." The board member looked at Alex. "Why would you remove her access?" Alex swallowed. I was protecting the company." I laughed once. "You were protecting yourself." Sienna jumped up. "He removed her because she's unstable. She threatened him." I leaned forward. "Sienna, you sent me a message last night." Her mouth opened slightly. I read it aloud. "Alex is finally free." The room went dead. An investor spoke slowly. "This is personal." Another board member said, "This is reckless." Sienna shook her head fast. "It was a joke." The lead investor raised a hand. "Enough." Then he looked directly at me. "Mrs. Carter, can you stabilize the Falcon deal if we return your access officially?" I didn't answer immediately. I wanted Alex to hear every second of it. Finally, I said, "Yes, but not under Alex." Alex snapped up. "What?" I continued calmly. "If you want this company to survive, you give me legal authority, full control of approvals, full access, and direct reporting to the board." Alex stood up. "You can't do this." The investor's eyes turned cold. "Sit down, Alex." Alex's knees locked. And I realized the twist was complete. The man who kicked me off the jet was now being ordered like a servant in his own empire. Alex didn't sit. He stared at the investor like he couldn't believe what he heard. "This is my company," he said, voice rising. "You can't hand it to her." The lead investor didn't blink. "Then explain why the entire system collapses without her." Alex looked at the board. "I built this." A board member replied calmly, "You built the image. She built the structure." That sentence shattered him. Sienna leaned toward Alex, whispering fast, but I saw her eyes. She wasn't supporting him. She was calculating her escape. Then the lawyer slid a document across the table. "Emergency authorization," she said. "Temporary authority transfer for risk stabilization." Alex's hands shook. "No." The board member spoke coldly. "Sign it, Alex, or we vote you out." Alex's face went white. He looked at me like he wanted to kill me. "You planned this." I met his eyes. "You started it on that runway." Silence. Then Alex grabbed the pen and signed, hard, angry. The moment the ink touched paper, the room shifted. The investors turned toward me, not him. "Proceed," the lead investor said. I opened my laptop and logged into the system. The contracts unlocked, audit flags changed status, payment holds began clearing. But I didn't fix everything. Not yet. I paused at one file, Falcon Final Release. I looked up. "Before I approve this, I need one thing." The board member asked, "What?" I turned the screen toward them. A name appeared in the access log, Sienna Vale. "She accessed confidential contract drafts," I said, "multiple times, outside her authorization." Sienna snapped up, "That's false." I clicked again. A hidden chain of messages appeared, Sienna forwarding internal files to an unknown email. The lawyer's face hardened. "That's corporate espionage." Sienna's voice broke. "I can explain." The board member stood. "Security." 2 guards entered. Sienna looked at Alex, begging, tell them I didn't." Alex didn't move. He just watched her. And I finally understood the real truth. Alex didn't love anyone. He only loved control. Sienna was dragged out screaming, promising revenge. The door slammed. Then the lead investor looked at me, now approved Falcon. I hovered my finger over the approval buttons. Alex leaned forward, whispering through clenched teeth. If you do this, you're declaring war. I clicked approve. And the moment it went through, Alex's phone buzzed. A message appeared on his screen. Government review requested, CEO required. Alex froze. He stared at the message like it was a death sentence. I smiled slightly. Because the audit storm wasn't over. It was just beginning. Alex ran after the board meeting like a man being chased. He cornered me in the executive hallway and grabbed my wrist. What did you do? He hissed. I pulled free. I approved Falcon. That message, he snapped, shoving his phone toward me. Government review, that doesn't happen without a trigger. I stared at the screen, calm. It happens when people get suspicious. Alex's eyes widened. You framed me. I stepped closer. No, Alex, I revealed you. He lowered his voice. If they audit deep enough, they'll find weaknesses. They'll find the hidden transfers, the internal shortcuts. I smiled. Shortcuts you took. He swallowed. Shortcuts you built. I stared at him. I built systems, you built lies. His jaw clenched. Fix it. I shook my head slowly. You don't get to order me anymore. His face twisted with rage. You're acting like you own the company now. I replied coldly, I do. Alex stared at me like he wanted to attack, but footsteps approached. He stepped back instantly, changing his expression. That alone disgusted me. 2 compliance officers walked by, nodding politely at me, barely looking at Alex. When they passed, Alex whispered, You think you've won. I looked at him. You kicked me off a jet like I was nothing. You were wrong. Alex leaned in closer, voice sharp. You can't keep humiliating me. People will talk. I replied, They already are. His phone buzzed again. He read it and his eyes turned wild. CEO required for review interview 9:00 a.m. He grabbed his hair. This will destroy me. I didn't flinch. It should. Alex stepped closer, voice trembling now. Evelyn, please, I'll give you anything, control, money, everything. I stared at him. I only wanted respect. He froze. Then his face shifted, like a mask coming back on. He lowered his voice. If you don't stop, I'll tell them you're behind everything. I'll drag your name down with mine. I smiled slowly. Try. Alex blinked. What? I took my phone out and showed him one email draft, already scheduled. Recipients, investors, board members, compliance, media. Subject, the truth about Carter Global. Alex's throat tightened. You wouldn't. I leaned close and whispered, You never understood me. Then I walked away. Behind me, Alex stood shaking. Because for the first time in his life, he wasn't facing a rival. He was facing the person who built his entire world. And she was done protecting him. The next morning, Alex went alone to the government review. He didn't invite me. He didn't dare. At 9:47 a.m., my phone buzzed with a board alert. CEO interview, UNDRWY. At 10:12 a.m., another alert. Investor emergency call, 11:00 a.m. Alex was bleeding fast. I entered the office and walked straight to the boardroom. The investors were already seated. The board members looked tense. Alex arrived 5 minutes late. His confidence was gone. He looked smaller, like the building itself was pushing him down. He sat without speaking. The lead investor stared at him. How did the interview go? Alex forced a smile. Fine. A board member leaned forward. Then, why did the investigators request internal financial records from the last 5 years? Alex's smile cracked. Routine. The investor's voice turned colder. They also asked why your approval chain depends on one person's credentials. Alex glanced at me like a trapped animal. I spoke calmly, because the systems were built that way intentionally. Silence. One board member asked, by who? I answered, by me. Alex snapped, don't act like a hero. I looked at him. You claimed credit when things worked. Now you want me silent when things burn. The investor raised a hand. Enough. Then he turned to Alex. We have another issue. Someone contacted our largest partner last night. Alex blinked. Who? The investor looked directly at me. Evelyn did. Alex jumped up. What? I didn't flinch. I secured our position. Alex pointed at me, furious. You went behind my back. A board member replied calmly. She now has authority to protect the company. You signed it. Alex's breathing turned heavy. You're stealing everything from me. I leaned forward. No, I'm taking back what you stole. The lawyer placed another document on the table. Permanent restructuring, she said. New executive authority. Alex's eyes widened. No. The lead investor's tone was final. Sign, or we remove you today. Alex stared at the paper like it was a coffin lid. Sienna wasn't there anymore. No one was whispering support into his ear. No one was smiling at him. It was just him. And the truth. He picked up the pen slowly. Then he stopped. He looked at me with pure hatred. You'll regret this. I smiled slightly. I already survived you. Alex signed. The ink dried. And with that one signature, Alex Carter stopped being the king of his empire and became the first man to fall under my control. That night, Alex came home like a stranger. He walked through the door slowly, as if the house didn't belong to him anymore. He didn't speak. He didn't even look at me at first. Then he said, "They're watching me." I replied calmly, "They should." He laughed once, bitter. "You're enjoying this." I stared at him. "I'm surviving it." Alex threw his jacket onto the couch. I went from CEO to a puppet in 1 week. I didn't answer. He stepped closer, eyes sharp. "Tell me the truth. Did you plan all of this from the start?" I met his gaze. "You planned my replacement first." His jaw clenched. "Sienna was nothing." I replied, "She was enough for you to betray me." Alex's face twisted. I was under pressure, investors, image, they expected a perfect wife. I laughed softly. "So you erased me to look powerful." He stared at me, then whispered, "I never thought you'd fight back." I walked closer. "That's the problem, you thought I couldn't." Alex's hands shook as he grabbed his phone. "They locked my executive card. My access is limited. They even asked for my travel records." He looked up, voice breaking. "Evelyn, do you want me in prison?" I studied him. "You're scared now." He snapped, "Of course I'm scared." Then he dropped his voice. "They asked about the jet, about international accounts, about hidden transfers. They think I'm laundering." I tilted my head slightly. "Are you?" Alex froze. That silence answered me. He stepped back, swallowing hard. It was just business shortcuts. Everyone does it. I walked past him to the dining table. "And you hid it behind my work." Alex followed, desperate. "Listen, if you help me clean this up, I'll leave everything to you. The company, the money, everything." I stopped and faced him. "You're offering me scraps to save yourself." He slammed his hand on the table. "What do you want then?" I leaned in. "The truth." Alex's eyes trembled. "If the truth comes out, I'm done." I whispered, "You were done the day you said you didn't need me." Alex's phone buzzed again. He checked it and his face went blank. "Formal notice, asset review initiated." His lips trembled. "They're freezing accounts." Then he looked at me like a man begging the judge. "Please, don't destroy me." I held his gaze. And in that moment, Alex finally understood. The woman he threw away wasn't weak. She was the storm holding his world together. And now she was letting it fall. The next day, the board called me in early. When I entered the building, security nodded at me like I was already their boss. Alex was standing near the elevator, silent, eyes burning with humiliation. We rode up together without a word. Inside the boardroom, the lead investor slid a folder toward me. "Evelyn," he said, "we found something." I opened it. Bank transfers, offshore links, shell accounts. All connected to Alex's private approvals. But the worst part wasn't the money. It was the signature trail. Alex had been using my system access for years. Not just for deals. For hiding. The board member spoke sharply. "He built a shadow network under your authority." I felt my blood turn cold. So if this explodes, the lawyer nodded. Your name gets pulled into it. Alex suddenly stood up. This is insane. Evelyn knew nothing. I turned to him slowly. You used me. Alex snapped. I protected you. If anyone asked questions, I kept you out of it. I leaned forward. No, you kept me ignorant so you could use my hands. The lead investor spoke. Government investigators will demand answers. We need someone clean to lead this company through the storm. He looked straight at me. We want you. Alex laughed bitterly. You want my wife to take my place. A board member replied coldly. Not your wife, your replacement. Alex's face twisted. Then the investor turned to me again. But there's a condition. We need you to cooperate fully. Anything tied to Alex must be exposed. I stared at the folder. Expose Alex, and the entire empire collapses. Protect Alex, and I go down with him. Alex stepped closer to me, voice low. Evelyn, don't do this. I'll fix it. I'll give you whatever you want. I didn't look at him. I looked at the documents again. Then I saw one page that made my stomach drop. A contract from years ago. My name was erased from the record. My work filed under Alex's ownership. I flipped more pages. Again and again. Every project I built was recorded as his genius. My identity wasn't just ignored. It was deleted on purpose. Alex whispered, it was necessary. I turned to him, eyes cold. Necessary for you. The board asked quietly, Evelyn, what is your decision? I closed the folder. I stood up, and I gave them my answer. Prepare the public disclosure, I said calmly. I'm done protecting him. Alex's eyes widened. Evelyn. I walked past him. You made your choice on that runway. And now I'm making mine. The media leak hit 2 days later. At first it was small. One business page posted, Carter Global under review. Then another headline followed, CEO Alex Carter facing regulatory questions. By noon, it was everywhere. Alex called me 20 times. I didn't answer. At 6:30 p.m., he showed up at my new office, the one the board had quietly given me. He walked in without permission. His face was wrecked. You leaked it. I looked up calmly. The truth leaked. He slammed his phone on my desk. They're calling me a fraud. They're saying I built everything on fake approvals. I stared at him. You did. Alex's voice cracked. You were supposed to protect me. I stood up slowly. I protected you for 10 years. You still threw me away. He stepped closer, desperate. Evelyn, listen to me. If you don't stop this, they'll freeze everything. My assets, my passports, they'll open criminal cases. I answered coldly. You should have thought about that before stealing. Alex's eyes turned wild. You're acting like I'm some criminal. I leaned forward. You used offshore accounts. You hid transfers. You signed deals under my identity. Alex whispered, it was business. I replied, no, it was greed. His hands trembled. I can't lose everything. I looked into his eyes. You already lost the only person who could save you. Alex's phone buzzed. He read it. Then his face turned to stone. Formal notice, asset freeze requested. He slowly lowered the phone. Then he whispered, they're coming for me. I crossed my arms. Good. Alex exploded. You think this is justice? You're destroying yourself too. Your name is on those signatures. I smiled slightly. That's why I prepared first. His eyes narrowed. What? I tapped my desk and pulled up a file. A clean audit trail. A full signature history. Every approval tagged with internal tracking codes. Proof of who requested the transfers. Proof of who ordered the changes. It didn't point at me. It pointed at him. Alex's lips parted. You've been collecting evidence. I leaned in, since the moment you kicked me off that jet. He stepped back like he was seeing a stranger. Then he whispered, Evelyn, please. I shook my head, too late. He turned and ran out of my office like his world was ending. Because now he understood the twist. He didn't lose control to the board. He lost control to me. And I wasn't giving it back. That night, Alex disappeared. No calls, no messages, no public appearance. By morning, the company security team informed me he hadn't shown up to the office. The board was already panicking. Because the investigators were coming again. And the CEO was missing. At 3:18 p.m., an unknown number called me. I answered. Alex's voice sounded broken. Evelyn, I'm in trouble. I stayed calm. Where are you? He hesitated. You can't know. I replied, then you can't be helped. His breathing turned heavy. They froze the accounts. My cards don't work. I can't access anything. I said nothing. Alex whispered, I went to Sienna. I laughed softly. Bad choice. He sounded bitter. She blocked me. She vanished. I leaned back. Of course she did. His voice cracked. I have no one. I replied coldly, that's what you wanted for me. He went silent for a second, then whispered, they're going to arrest me. I narrowed my eyes. Did they contact you directly? Yes, he said quickly. They said I need to appear for questioning tomorrow. I asked calmly, and what are you planning? He whispered, I'm thinking of leaving. I froze for the first time. Leaving where? I don't know, he said. Anywhere. If I stay, I'm finished. I lowered my voice. If you run, you'll confirm guilt. Alex snapped, I'm already guilty in their eyes. Then his tone dropped again. Evelyn, I need you. I didn't respond. He continued, please, just meet me once. Just talk to me. I swear I'll sign anything. I'll give you the company permanently. I'll divorce you clean, anything. I stared at my desk. Then I asked the real question. Alex, why did you kick me off the jet? He went silent. I pressed harder, tell me the truth. His voice trembled, because I wanted to feel powerful. I closed my eyes. He whispered, you made me feel small. Everyone praising me, but I knew it was you. I hated that. My blood turned cold. So he didn't betray me because he stopped needing me. He betrayed me because he knew I was stronger. I opened my eyes. You didn't want a wife, you wanted a mirror. Alex choked, Evelyn, please. I leaned closer to the phone. Then I said the line that shattered him. You kicked off the wrong person. Alex's breathing stopped. And in that silence, I knew the truth. This wasn't about saving him anymore. This was about ending him. The next morning, the investigators arrived at the company. This time they didn't smile, they didn't waste time. They walked into the boardroom with documents already printed. The lead investigator looked at the board and said, we need Evelyn Carter. I stepped forward calmly. Alex wasn't there. The investigator placed photos on the table. Alex entering banks, Alex meeting unknown men, Alex signing documents. Then he opened a folder and said, we also have an anonymous submission. My stomach tightened. From who? He replied, doesn't matter, but it contains internal evidence. I knew instantly. Alex had tried to protect himself by throwing me under the fire. The investigator continued. This submission claims you controlled the approval chain and directed the transfers. The room went silent. Board members turned toward me with fear. The investigator asked, did you? I didn't blink, no. He leaned forward, then prove it. I nodded once, I can. I opened my laptop and connected it to the screen. Then I pulled up the audit trail I had prepared. Every transaction. Every request. Every timestamp. Every device ID. I highlighted one detail. See this? I said calmly. This transfer was requested from Alex's personal executive tablet. The investigator narrowed his eyes. Continue. I clicked again. This contract was altered from his office system at 2:11 a.m. I clicked again. This offshore approval was done under my signature, but routed from his private VPN. The investigator stared at the screen like he was watching a confession. A board member whispered, "Oh my God." Then the investigator asked quietly, "Why didn't you report this earlier?" I answered without emotion, because I didn't know he used my identity until I was removed. The investigator looked at me for a long moment. Then he turned to the board. "We will be issuing an arrest notice if Mr. Carter fails to appear." At that exact moment, my phone buzzed. A message from Alex. I sent them what I had. It's your problem now. My blood turned cold. So he really did it. He tried to destroy me as his final weapon. I looked at the investigator. I have something else. I opened one more file. A recorded confession. Alex's voice filled the room. I wanted to feel powerful. I hated that it was you. The investigator's face hardened instantly. He stood up. Where is Alex Carter now? I closed my laptop slowly. And I gave the only answer that mattered. Running. The investigator nodded once. Then we'll hunt him. Alex didn't run quietly. He ran like a man who thought money could still save him. That afternoon, I received a call from the airport security director. Mrs. Carter, he said, your husband tried to access the private terminal. My chest tightened. Did he board? No, the director replied. His clearance was denied. His jet was grounded. I smiled once. The same sky that carried him away from me was now refusing him. Then my phone buzzed again. A message from Alex. Meet me, one last time, or I'll burn everything. I stared at the words. Then another message came, even colder. I know where your mother lives. My blood turned to ice. I stood up instantly and called the investigator. Within an hour, security surrounded my family home. The investigator's voice turned sharp. He threatened you, that's enough. At 6:40 p.m., news alerts exploded. Alex Carter, officially wanted for questioning. His face was on screens everywhere. The empire he bragged about was now hunting him like prey. That night, the board held an emergency vote. They removed Alex permanently. His title, his shares, his access, everything. At midnight, I received a final report from compliance. All accounts tied to Alex, frozen. All major clients, secured under Evelyn's authority. All internal systems, transferred. Alex was erased in 12 hours. Then one last twist. At 1:17 a.m., my office door opened. Security shouted, "Ma'am." But it was too late. Alex stepped inside. He looked exhausted, wild-eyed, like someone who hadn't slept for days. He locked the door behind him. I can't run anymore, he whispered. I stayed still. You threatened my family. His face twisted. I had to, you destroyed me. I leaned forward. You destroyed yourself. He stepped closer. Evelyn, you can still save me. I replied coldly, no. Alex's voice cracked. I loved you. I laughed once. You loved what I gave you. His eyes filled with rage. Then I'll take it back. He reached into his jacket. My heart stopped. Not because of fear. Because I realized he was desperate enough to do anything. Then he pulled out a flash drive. Everything, he whispered. All the company's secrets. If I go down, they all go down. He placed it on my desk like a bomb. And smiled. You choose, he said, me or ashes. The flash drive sat between us like a loaded gun. Alex stared at me, breathing hard. If you don't protect me, I destroy everything. I didn't touch it. I looked at him. You think fear still works on me? His lips curled. It should. That drive has enough to bury the board, the investors, everyone. I leaned back. So you're blackmailing them now? Alex stepped closer. I'm surviving. I nodded slowly. You're begging. His eyes flashed with anger. Say what you want, but you can't escape this. Your fingerprints are on the empire too. I stared at him. You're wrong. Alex blinked. What? I picked up my phone and tapped one button. A silent alarm. Alex didn't notice. He smiled like he was winning again. You'll help me, you always do. I shook my head. Not today. Alex's voice turned sharp. Then I'll leak everything tonight. I answered calmly. Do it. He froze. You think I won't? I leaned forward. You already leaked my name to investigators. You threatened my mother. You tried to run. You're finished either way. His face trembled. For the first time, Alex looked scared of me, not the law. He whispered, you want me dead. I replied, I want you exposed. Alex grabbed the flash drive. This is my last power. I stared at his hands. That drive won't save you. He laughed bitterly. You're bluffing. Then the door behind him clicked. Alex turned. 2 security officers entered with the lead investigator. Alex's face drained of color. The investigator's voice was cold. Alex Carter, you are required to come with us. Alex stumbled back. No, no, this is her doing. He pointed at me like I was the criminal. I stood up slowly. You chose violence, you chose threats. Alex screamed, you used me, you used my name, my company. I walked toward him, voice calm. I gave you everything, you turned it into poison. Alex's hands shook as he clutched the flash drive. If you arrest me, I swear I'll ruin all of you. The investigator didn't flinch. Add intimidation and blackmail to the list. Alex looked at me one last time. His eyes weren't angry now. They were empty, like a man finally realizing the truth. He whispered, you were never my wife. I stared back, I was your foundation. Security grabbed him. Alex fought, shouting my name like a curse. As they dragged him out, the flash drive slipped from his hand and hit the floor. I picked it up calmly. And I realized the final twist. Alex didn't bring a weapon to kill me. He brought proofs. Enough proof to burn his empire forever. And now it belonged to me. 3 weeks later, Carter Global had a new face. Mine. The board made it official. Investors stopped whispering and started listening. Clients returned, not because they loved the company, but because they trusted the person who actually ran it. Alex was denied bail. His charges kept growing: fraud, intimidation, illegal transfers, blackmail. And then he requested one thing: a meeting with me. I accepted. Not for him. For closure. The prison visiting room was cold and silent. Alex walked in wearing gray, his confidence replaced by emptiness. He sat across from me and stared like he couldn't decide if he hated me or needed me. You look powerful, he whispered. I didn't respond. Alex swallowed. I didn't think you could do this. I leaned forward slightly. That's why you lost. He nodded slowly, eyes wet. That day, the jet, I wanted to break you. I replied calmly, you didn't break me, you revealed me. Alex looked away, voice shaking. I've been replaying it, the moment I told you to stay behind, the moment the door closed. His lips trembled. If I could go back. You can't, I cut him off. Alex clenched his fists. I'm going to rot here, and you're going to live my life. I stared at him. It was never your life, you just wore it. He flinched. Then he whispered, did you ever love me? I paused, then answered honestly. I loved the man you pretended to be. Alex's breathing broke. Evelyn, please, don't erase me. I smiled slightly. You erased me first. He leaned in, desperate. Tell the board I can come back, tell them I'll cooperate, I'll give names, I'll give anything. I shook my head. You don't have anything left. Alex's eyes turned dark. Then why did you come? I looked directly at him. To let you hear it from me. I stood up. You kicked me off the jet because you thought I was weak, I said quietly. Then I leaned closer, so only he could hear. But I was the reason you ever flew. Alex's eyes widened like he'd been stabbed. I turned and walked away. Behind me, Alex whispered my name one last time. Not like a husband. Like a man praying to the person who ended him. You have reached the end of the text.